Hi, I'm Becky Norwood with Spotlight Publishing House, and this is Stacy Schilling. We wanted to do a cool showcase. Now, Stacy has done some really cool stuff. She has a whole series of books that she's putting out, along with a lot of other wonderful things. But Stacy, show them your shirt. So what we got go. I
So
love
this
my
is
wavy hair.
my shirt. So this is the front, and then if I turn around, move my hair away.
Oh, that's so cool. And they can't see real close up. Do you have another shirt up that you can hold the back up and show?
No, this is the only one I have.
That's okay. That's okay. So we wanted to showcase Stacy and what she's doing because she's getting ready to really come out to the world with a big project she's been working a number of years on. And let's talk about it, Stacy. Let's talk about your process and your vision and what you've got going.
Well, I have a lot of things going on right now, Becky. I am in the process of trying to finalize my shirts that'll be available to the public to purchase. So I'm still working on that. I'm in the process of updating the website with that information so people will be able to go to the website and purchase those. There's already activity sheets and coloring sheets on the website that you'll be able to purchase through my Etsy account. I'll redirect you there. I have a YouTube channel. I've also been using TikTok as well as my Instagram and Facebook. I just created a Facebook group for the books right now, and I have to go back in and finish my Kickstarter campaign that I'm going to be launching. And then I also need to figure out and lay out and design the bookmarks. And then I'm going to be doing some sticker sheets. And then I think every time the t-shirts get mailed, because I think I'm going to have to mail them, I need to create some sort of little thank you card to stick inside each one of the packages, just to kind of thank people for their purchase. And so I have a ton of projects going on. I'm waiting to get my ISBN numbers so I can launch book 1 and book 2 in the series on Amazon Kindle as e-publications next month. And then after that, come June-ish is what we're aiming for to launch the official hard copy case bound books of book 1 and book 2 and do a massive launch as well. I'm also waiting to hear back from somebody about doing plushies as well too. So I have a lot of ongoing products. I'm still trying to find a wavy or curly girl owned business that I can tag team with so they can print the characters in the hearts onto bonnets, silk bonnets, scrunchies, as well as pillowcases, and then do a joint venture to where somehow we figure out with our attorneys how we're going to split the proceeds. It may be 50-50 because it's my designs, but then it might be their product. So on their fabric, and because they're going to be doing all the shipping. So I'm trying to work with them. I've reached out to a couple hair enthusiasts, influencers, as well as business owners in wavy or curly hair about collabing with them. And I think the more that the books and the girls and everything is sort of out in public and on display, people will eventually catch on and want to be a part of this. So whoever wants to tag team with me, I am looking for somebody.
That is so cool. It's such a big picture, and I know the number of young girls that would just absolutely love to be a part of this. To learn about it, know what to do with their crazy wild hair. I have a couple of granddaughters with incredibly wild hair, and just to see them learn how to manage it, it would be so awesome.
Yeah, as well as giving them the confidence to be able to be comfortable in their own skin. A lot of girls, when they're young, sometimes they don't know how to take care of their hair. Sometimes they might get teased at. I've been reading and seeing a lot of women who have wavy hair and curly hair that were told to like brush your hair. Why don't you brush your hair? But they didn't know when they were kids growing up that they had wavy hair. They just thought it was frizzy. And that's what a lot of people are taught is if your hair is poofy, it's frizzy hair, and they don't actually realize it's a hair texture and a hair type. And there's a whole methodology to be able to take care of that hair and to wear it with pride the way that you want it. And everybody has a hair type. We go from 1A all the way to 4C in that category. So someone's going to fall into one of those categories, and they're also going to be a mixture of those two. So I want them to be able to know what to do and how to take care of their hair. I want them to feel comfortable that when an adult is telling them to brush their hair dry or to wear it a certain way or use a certain product, I want them to say, stop. That's
Look
not
at
how
you.
I take care of my hair. The Frizz girls taught me that this is what I need to do, and I'm going to do it my way based on what they're teaching me. And I want them to stand up for themselves and to be able to know that this is their hair, and it's okay to have wavy hair. It's okay to have curly hair, and it's okay to wear it with pride because that's the hair you were given. Don't be ashamed or afraid of it, embarrassed by it. Learn how you can embrace it and what products you're going to use, what techniques you're going to use, what styling methods, what is going to make you happy with your hair on your head. And that's the key too, is how do you find that happiness in yourself with what you've been given and also wearing it the way that you feel comfortable in your own skin.
That's beautiful. And you can see this is all natural curl. And
Yes, yes.
when I was growing up, it was actually down to my waist, but because it's so curly, it was like right up to here. And I would
Ah.
put it in, if I braided it, I'd look like Pippi Longstocking. And as I grew up, I learned to use these big old rollers. And I would
Ah.
put my hair in rollers and I would be gorgeous because they were big, nice, soft curls that way. Because it's just what I learned to do because I was frustrating to have it look like, and I could go like this and I would look like I'd have an afro if you wanted one.
Growing up, my aunt who's white and she has blue eyes, when she was growing up, she used to have an afro. She's got very curly hair. She's got 3C curly hair. And when she's growing out, she had a big afro and she used to use her pick and fork it out and stick her pick in her afro and go to school like that. And my mom, she had a little bit of a slight wave to her hair. And then my uncle, he had really curly hair. I think he has like 3B, 3C hair, but she had the really tight curls. And so she was able to do that with her hair. And if it grows out too much, we kind of make fun of her, like, your fro's growing out. You might want to reshape. I know, I got to go get it trimmed. And when she gets it trimmed, because she wears it really short, and when she puts gel on, I'm like, ooh, you put gel in your hair. I like it. It looks good.
Well, it's amazing what we do with our hair and the problems that it can create. But there's nothing more that gives a girl more confidence than to know how to take care of it and really feel that she looks good. I have a granddaughter that often will wear a little beanie cap, and I don't like it. It's a black beanie cap, and I'm like, take that thing off. You need to, But and when her hair is very, very short, she looks absolutely adorable. But her hair, like from here down, is just really soft and curly, and then the rest of the very frizz. It's like
Ah.
two different hairs on her head. It's
That's actually normal for a lot of people. So I have 2C, 3A hair. So I'm kind of in that in between wavy curly, but more wavy and some areas of curly. But it's normal for most people with curly wavy hair to have a mixture of curl types. Sometimes some people will have really straight hair, it'll seem like it's more straighter at the roots, but then underneath it's curly. A lot of that happens from the environment and sun damage because our crowns of our head and the tops of our head are getting the most amount of exposure by the sun and all the elements out there. And so what happens is sometimes when that happens, our waves and our curls won't go in the direction that we want it to. And sometimes it can be frustrating. So it might seem like some people have straighter hair on the crown, but a lot curlier underneath. And that's just because the underneath layers are not getting as much exposure to the elements as the top layer.
wow, amazing. So the reason we're doing this video is we wanted to showcase Stacy and what she's doing, and then encourage, if somebody if any of you listening to this video, you have somebody that can make great connections, we'll put links that you can contact Stacy, and then we'll share her progress so that when it's time for the launch, you'll be able to kind of step in and really support her, share it out to people that would really benefit from this. And so, Stacy, what a fun time just to see this. You've been working on this for quite a while, and it's wonderful to see it just starting to come to be.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Like, I've been wanting to write a book for years. And for a long time, I wasn't sure what to write the book on. And during COVID, I ended up writing another book. It was basically half graphic design, half my story on me as a graphic designer and some of the things that I went through as a designer and how to sort of help navigate young designers in the industry, what to do. But after having someone read my book, just the first chapter as well as the table of contents, they gave me some feedback. And I didn't know where to take that book and what to do with it at that point. So it was kind of one of those to where you need to just put it on the shelf, leave it alone, and go away from it. Because if you don't know what to do with it at this moment, there's no sense of investing time trying to figure out how you want to make it work. So in that process, with that on the back burner, I had a desire to do a book still, but I wasn't really sure. And what happened was I was also teaching, and I was teaching art and design. And then I started teaching some hair classes to kids. And as I was teaching them online about how to take care of their wavy curly hair, I started to get this idea that there's got to be some sort of book or educational material that kids can learn about their wavy curly hair. And at that time too, as I was trying to transition my hair from wearing it straight for many years back to wearing it natural curly, I was learning that there was a lot of women, teenagers, young adults, women who maybe had a baby and had always had straight hair, and all of a sudden they've got curly hair, or women that had gone through cancer and their hair was stick straight before they had cancer, and then after chemo treatment their hair got wavy or got curly, and they're like, I don't know how to take care of this hair because I've never had this type of hair before. And I realized that the wavy curly hair market was starting to grow, and it was starting to become a phenomenon because more and more women were learning about the curly girl method, and branching off of that was the wavy girl method, which is more tips and tricks that benefit wavy hair versus what works for curly hair, because sometimes products work well for wavy hair that don't work for curly hair and vice versa. And then you also have the kinky and coily categories too of those 4A, B, and C hair, which is a completely different hair type, which sometimes requires completely different products that not even a 3C can actually use on their hair, because their hair types and textures are completely different, as well as with the way their scalp produces oils and so forth. And so I realized that if this is becoming a very huge need and an issue for women, how much more so is it coming for kids? And is there a kids book on the market out there that can really teach kids about wavy curly hair? And as I started to think about it, I realized I don't think there really is, and I need to be a part of this because I have something to say and share, and I can do this. And I started deciding what they were going to be called. And I actually had the name of the characters, the Frizz girls, even decided before I even created them. And when it came to creating them, because I'm an artist and designer, I looked at several different cartoons just to kind of get an idea and study what they were doing in body language, facial expressions, hair type, hair shapes, eyes, noses, mouths, and things. Because as artists, when you draw, especially when it comes traditionally, you spend a lot of time looking at subject matter. And it could be in books, it could be online, it could be in person. And when you study that subject matter, you're trying to figure out how do you capture that in a two-dimensional space, that flat space that you would see like on a piece of paper. And as I started getting the ideas, I just started sketching away. And then the ideas for face shapes came, the ideas for the hair came, the ideas for the body type, the clothes. It was extremely important for me to make sure that the characters were all had modest dress, because I'm focusing on girls ages 5 through 13. And of course, if you're older than 13, even adult, these are appropriate for you. But it was extremely important for me, having worked with kids all my life, to make sure that the bodies and the faces, and more importantly, the clothes were appropriate for the age group, because I didn't want to create characters that were going to offend children or more likely their parents and
Or their
grandparents.
parents.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes some kids' clothing can be a little bit risky, and some parents find certain clothing types and brands and sizes and shapes a little bit off-putting. And I didn't want parents to feel like this is a book that their children cannot read, or want to have because of the way the characters were dressed. So I wanted to make sure they were appropriately dressed. So they all have t-shirts, they all have shorts, they go to about their knees. They're all wearing tennis shoes and socks to make sure that they're appropriately covered as a young child, because it's really important, especially when you're a designer and artist, that when you're targeting your target audience, whoever your niche market is, you really make it geared toward them. And not only did the characters have to be designed right, but they also had to be a reflection of these young children. And so I really, really worked on making sure that everything looked appropriate. So that way, if a 5-year-old child picked up the book, their mother or father or grandparent would not be ashamed or embarrassed for their child to read it because the clothes were not appropriate. And I didn't want that. And I didn't want parents to feel that way and make them feel uncomfortable, tell their kids, no, you can't have this book and this is why. Because when I was growing up, anytime I went anywhere, if I wanted a toy, my mother said no. But if I wanted a book, you better believe she pulled
You
out her
got
wallet and
it.
bought me that book. Whether it was a coloring book, an activity book, or a book to read, or a book to look at and just get inspiration from, she bought me books because it encouraged me to read, and I still read today. And so I wanted to go in with that same mindset for these children to have this type of book and parents to feel comfortable. And then as I was realizing it, I needed more than one character. So there needed to be more than one Frizz. It couldn't just be me. It could be several. So I created several. Now, some of you may or might not know, but actually 4 of them are actually made up characters. So their likenesses, their hair type, their texture, their names are completely made up. So if they represent anybody that you know, it's totally coincidental because I didn't make them up. However, 3 of the characters are actually based on real people. Obviously, Stacy is based on me. Penny is actually based on my Aunt Penny, the one who actually grew up with an afro and wore a pick in her hair. So it's based on her. And the third character is Cameron, and she is based off one of my good friends, her granddaughter, who has coily, kinky hair. So 3 of the characters are actually based off real people. And so they were also part of the inspiration for creating this book for the genre of kids.
That is so awesome. Well, we're going to do these recordings as we progress along through this whole series. And this will be really a lot of fun to kind of see how it develops, because she has a lot more in store. And it's going to be an ongoing process. But, you know, it's all about connections. And at this point, as we walk through this process of getting her book out to the world, it will be a truly amazing journey. And if you know anybody that can connect with Stacy, then that's what we would really enjoy, because we want to make sure that it gets out there to the little ones that need, the young ones that need it, and also for the parents who are dealing with making sure those heads are perfectly combed and beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Well, stay tuned, because we will be bringing more your way. And thank you, Stacy. It's a fun time, and we'll keep everybody posted.